All right. Hey guys, today we got Aundronique's boyfriend. She wants to get him typed to figure out his personality type. So it's gonna be interesting. You don't have to go into any traumas, anything like that. I'll just be asking you questions, and from that, I'll be figuring out your best fit based off what you say. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Craig, and yeah, I'm Aundronique's boyfriend. I'm dating about a year and a half now. I work as a civil engineer, and I guess I'll let you ask. I can expand more. Or I can let you ask questions.
It's all good.
All right.
Man, so what got you in the morning to be a civil engineer? Do you always know like you want to be one, or?
Um, I didn't always know. There was some classes in my high school called Project Lead the Way,
Mhm,
and I realized that building stuff is kind of fun. So there were classes where you kind of got to just work with your hands, and it was kind of more like shop classes,
mhm,
not really relevant to actual engineering like what I'm doing for my career, but um, honestly, I felt like it could be a decent career where you could live a decent life, and so that was kind of my motivation for going into that. Didn't want to be a doctor or anything like that because for whatever reason, I thought if I was a doctor, I would be doing surgery, which is not always the case. And I was like, I just don't like blood and guts and stuff. So,
mhm,
um, I, yeah, but I think I've always liked building stuff. I love doing DIY projects around the house and just
mhm,
taking on new challenges and watching YouTube videos and trying something I've maybe never tried before just from watching YouTube videos. So it's
oh
kind of
wow.
fun to do that.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. What do you think is the best parts about being an engineer and what's the worst part?
The best part is it's not real repetitive. Like each project is something new. There's a new challenge involved, which is fun. The worst part is we just get overloaded with work. You're juggling so many projects at once that it can become a little bit overwhelming, and sometimes can mean working a little bit of overtime. So
Hmm.
finding that work-life balance, I think, is the hardest part with being an engineer.
Hmm. Okay. What would you recommend for somebody who was possibly getting into engineering? What would you recommend for them?
Um, I would say if that's something that you've identified you want to do once you're going to college, you would want to not just you want to go a little bit above and beyond doing your schoolwork and try
Mhm,
to get involved in an internship ahead of time because that's what's going to connect you to the right people once you're about ready to graduate. If you've already interned at one or two different companies, then chances are they're going to be interested in hiring you because they've already kind of trained you a little bit. So um, I would say just get involved and try to meet people in the industry and kind of expand outside of your college
mhm.
network.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say you're pretty good at like meeting people, talking to people?
I am. I mean, in a situation like this, I can be very extroverted and I could talk to just. I feel like I could talk to just about anybody.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I would describe myself as more introverted. I think
Oh,
that it
man.
actually drains me to talk to people. Like I might take a nap after this. No, I'm just kidding. But but no, I don't know. People think I'm extroverted, but I feel like I'm more introverted. Like
Mhm.
people that know me.
Yeah. Why do you
So
say that? Just
just because like if given if I had a whole weekend off and I was planning what I wanted to do for a weekend, I would probably stay in and work on a project or play a video game or do something kind of more solo and independent than
mhm,
like I'm not going to be like, oh, let's go out and let's schedule stuff to do and go out. I'm just kind of, I don't know, more of an independent person, I think, when it comes to my own personal time. But I feel like I can morph and kind of be flexible into what I need to do.
mhm,
Um, like if I'm a part of a team and there's a certain role that needs to be filled, I can kind of fill that role, um, whether it's a lead role or a support role. I'll just kind of like I'll find the need and then I'll try to do what I know think is best to try to
mhm.
fill that role, I guess.
Okay. What do you think is like your like best skills? And like if you were on a team, what do you think is like your best skills that you have?
For me, organization is a big one. I took a leadership course a couple years ago, and it was a whole bunch of people in our engineering industry, and we took a true colors test. So it was basically a really simplified personality test
Hmm.
that split personalities into four colors.
DIC? Is it
Gold,
disc? Is it
it was
disc?
gold was like you're like really organized, kind of overachiever. Green was like you're very data oriented. You just want to like not be super social, get your numbers and crunch them alone. Orange was you're very entrepreneurial. You kind of like to break the rules. And blue was like your decisions are more like emotional driven. So it's a very simplified test. But of everybody in the class, I had the highest gold rating, which was like organization and overachieving kind of
Yeah.
situation. And the instructor of the course was like, "Oh, so it was like, is your closet just organized by like clothes? Like you have all your reds and all your blues like in order?" I'm like, "Actually, no." She's like, "Is your sock drawer like organized?" I'm like, "No, it's pretty chaotic." So she was kind of surprised by that, but
Mhm.
but at least on this like very simplified, it was based on like 12 questions. So I mean, who knows
Mm.
how accurate it was?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
but
I
even
feel
Underneath thinks I'm organized. Yeah, go ahead.
I think in general, like organization, just like something, it's pretty comes pretty natural. Like for me, I
Yeah,
can just be in a set place and I'm like, that needs to go there, that needs to go there. Just can just play out in my head. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm, when did you think you picked up that skill of organization?
Um, I it had to have been as a child. I think my mom was very um she very emphasized like doing well in school and everything, and like she wanted me to take notes on kind of what assignments were due so she could make sure I was doing my homework. So like Aundronique seen it, she kind of laughed at it because I had a planner from high school where I would have like each class and I'd write down like a bullet of like what notes were there. And then that way if she ever wanted to look, she could see it and make sure I was doing all my work. And so I think it kind of started there as like a kid, and then it just kind of continued. Like with my current job, there's so many things that come, that happen and pop up throughout the day. So I feel
Mhm,
like I can't keep on top of everything if I don't write a couple notes down here in different spots. So
mhm. Oh, wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. I kind of like I get what you're saying, but for me, I like visually have it in my head. I should probably like write down the notes and stuff so I don't forget things. But it's so much energy, and I feel like as soon as I write something down, I like throw it away anyway. It's weird.
Well,
Um,
you're probably just smarter than me because I can't keep
no,
it all in my
no,
head.
no, man. I don't know. It's just weird. It just, but like a lot of times I keep things like visually in my like it has to be around somewhere that I can see it because if I see it,
Yeah.
then I'll remember to like take it or use it or whatever. Like with vitamins and stuff like that, or like
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
moisturizer. I keep that shit like in like island. Like I walk in, I'm like, oh, there's my moisturizer. Oh, let me use it. Because if not, I'll just straight up forget.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do that too. Like sometimes if I don't want to forget something, I'll notice if something is misplaced a little bit, like maybe like a Kleenex box that's half hanging off the table. I'm like, "Oh, that's about to fall off," and I'll move it off there. So next time I walk in the room, like, why did I do that? Oh yeah, and it will remind me of like something I had to do maybe. But yeah.
Uh, how were you as a kid? Like, how was your childhood? How would you describe yourself?
Um, I mean, I was always like in school, I was always a pretty good student. Outside of school, I uh, was very into sports. I was always signed up for like one or two sports teams, just very active. Most of my friends were kind of athlete type people as well. I played on an actual team, like all throughout high school, I was on soccer teams,
Oh,
and
damn.
then I was playing like pickup basketball pretty much 24/7 outside of school with different friends. And during the summer, there was a community pool we would go to because I grew up in Maryland. So we'd all be swimming and just hanging out at the pool and playing different, fish out of water and Marco Polo and different games like that. So it was a very active childhood, I would say.
Mhm.
High school started getting into weightlifting, and back in those days, it was just chest and biceps because that's all that mattered. So, but yeah, it was pretty good childhood, I would say. I mean, I was never really like in school. I was never someone that would like cause a scene or anything like that. I just kind of did what I had to do, and
Hmm.
felt like I could kind of, even back then, I felt like I could kind of talk to anybody in any different crowd. I didn't really feel, wasn't popular, but I feel like I could talk to people in
Hmm.
in the popular crowd if I wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. What was your favorite sport?
Honestly, I'd say basketball. I played soccer, but basketball was my favorite just because it was something that you could go play solo. You could just go out there and work on your shots and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I was obsessed with trying to jump higher at the time and trying to, like, just work on those kind of moves and stuff. Whereas soccer, you go out and you kick a ball around yourself. You kick it once and you got to go fetch it before you can do it. So it was kind of like basketball is just something you could just go out and shoot, and it was just fun.
Yeah,
Um,
more high risk. I mean, more like ability to just like get a goal. Like you score or
Totally.
something. Like at soccer, it might take you forever to score.
Forever, yeah. You're not as involved in the game as much. Like, I played baseball when I was very young, and I quit just because I was bored. Like, I'd just be standing there and, like, there wasn't enough to do? So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you see yourself for the next 10 years, man?
Next 10 years, I think I'm just kind of, uh, good question. I don't really, like, have a set
Hmm.
system on how that's gonna work, I would say. I mean, I think in general, I'd wanna, continue to progress in my career. Um, I am really interested in real estate investing, so I think it would be kinda cool to have a couple rental properties if I'm able to save up enough money to do that. That would be
Hmm.
kind of a nice long-term goal, I think. Um, and kind of use some of the DIY skills I've learned to try to improve uh, the value of a house or make someone want to live there a little bit more. Um, and other than that, like, physically, just try to maintain decent shape and not let myself go too much as I go into my 40s, and not be the Hulk or anything like that, but just kind of be a healthy person in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
So
When you said like the real estate, like what you don't like, how do you deal with like the tenants and stuff? I can't. So my reasoning for not like doing real estate too early is I didn't want somebody calling me at like 4 a.m. talking about the ice box broke or the AC broke or some shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put my money in stocks. So I don't have to deal with somebody fucking calling me randomly. But how
that's
do you deal with
smart. That's smart. I mean, I haven't looked into stocks at all, so I mean, very little.
that? Hmm.
I know that long term, that's probably a super smart financial move. But I just figured, like, what the heck? Let's take a risk with that, because if you own a rental property, um, and you're paying a set mortgage for 30 years or whatever, that's not going to go up, but the rent is going to go up. So I feel like there's a potential to grow there on that combined with the, like, 0.36 depreciation that you can get. That
Hmm.
just sounds like a really good deal as far as, like, being able to make cash that is then able to be reinvested,
Hmm.
while you're kind of working on that. So
Hmm.
not only that, but the cash savings from tax credits, I think, is really, um, or tax write-offs, I should say, I think is appealing. So I haven't wrapped my head around it fully, but that's something I would like to. Um, I see a lot of opportunities there, and
Yeah.
maybe less so in today's market than in the past years with the interest rates being higher. But
That's what I was telling
it's,
her. Like, oh my God.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know, if they go back down, then I think for right now, the smartest thing to do is just to kind of live life a little bit frugally and try to save some money, and then be
Hmm.
in a position where you can make the call when
Yeah.
things change. So
Yeah. That's the same thing. Like right now, I'm just hurting cash because I just
nice.
like everything is just so unstable. Like everything
Mhm.
is so fucking unstable with like the Ukraine shit and then the fucking Israel stuff and then like they're talking about potentially China wants to invade fucking Taiwan and then that shit's like a matter of time. You're like, fuck, man. Like, don't put your money in shit because if anything like that happens, that shit going straight down.
I know. It's it's hard to know the future, that's for sure.
I just think the best move is to save cash because if you do see an opportunity, then you can take advantage of it. If you don't see the opportunity, you have money. So I mean, like,
Yeah, I think it's a good I think it's good to diversify a little bit, like, have a steady amount of cash, but then also have some assets. Because if the shit really hits the fan, as people say, then cash may not matter. It may just be what do you have that you can trade for or whatnot. I hope it doesn't come to that, but you never know. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
interesting topic though for sure.
Especially with the elections coming around too. Like neither party wants to lose. So that's another shit show that's coming right down the pipeline.
This year is going to be crazy. It's going to be an interesting year.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm like. You know what? I'll just save money. Like, nah, I'm okay with investing for now. Um,
Sounds
hmm,
like a good move.
what do you want to be remembered for?
Um, I personally don't really. It's not really important to me to be remembered. Honestly, I mean, it's like, um, I don't know. I don't really see myself as anything super significant. So it's kind of not that I see myself as anything bad, but it's just like I'm not really coming from any kind of place of pride or whatnot.
Mhm.
I understand people live, people die, and you know, people that are of great significance have died and passed away, and then you just don't think about them as much. I mean, even Kobe Bryant, right? Like a
Yeah.
couple years ago, it's like how much are people really? People still talk about him a little bit, but it's like so when I think about me being remembered,
Mhm.
and I compare myself to someone like Kobe, it's like it's not gonna. I don't really have high expectations for that, but that doesn't affect how I view myself or whatever. I think it's
Mhm.
just kind of a I don't know. I just think it's more realistic to not have expectations for that.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe was when Kobe died, kind of hit me. You know, it's
Me
like holy
too.
shit. Like I don't know, just like something about somebody who puts everything into one thing and gets the maximum out of it, and then just like fucking dies before they even like get to the next chapter of their life. It's kind of
Yeah. He doesn't get to sit back and enjoy life, everything he's worked for, and like with his daughter being on that helicopter too. That was just
crazy,
horrible.
great.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you see like somebody like Michael Jordan. You just see like Kobe and Jordan. You expect them to be, I don't know, you expect them to be there forever.
Yeah.
What do you think about Steph Curry and LeBron? Like LeBron.
Oh, man, LeBron's amazing. I've always been a LeBron fan.
Hmm.
Definitely been a bandwagoner as he switched around from Cavaliers, Heat,
Yeah,
Lakers. So, I mean, I think what he's doing in year 21 is crazy.
crazy. A good
I mean,
man.
to be it's inspiring, because he just turned 39. I'm 35. I'm like, all right, I could keep going a little bit for a couple more years. It's like you reach a point, and it's like you realize you're not going pro anymore. It's like not that I ever thought I was, but like you hit 30, you're like, all right, I'm older now than most of these pro players, and
Uh-huh.
now. It's nice to see an older guy kind of still holding it up for us.
Well,
So,
all of them are pretty much 30, 35 now. Like Steph Curry's what,
yeah,
33 or 32. Like pretty much
yeah,
everybody, Klay Thompson, all the guys. Like it's crazy that like the new players that are coming in aren't being able to like hold it as well as the previous generation of players, which is so crazy. You kind of see that in NFL too. It's like the players are just not as good as they used to be. It's weird. Like you remember
yeah,
like when when we were young, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, you knew consistently what they were gonna do. You knew
yeah.
consistently like and now like people are very streaky. Like one day they'll play really good and then like two for the next 2 weeks they'll play like shit and then play good. So weird. Or like you
I
ever seen
wonder
like
what it is. Like, is it just that there's more distractions? And so when these guys are on their free time, they're not really focused on the game. They're more focused on other stuff and getting distracted. Where I feel like LeBron, he's just like, that's his life. Like he's thinking like, how much can I invest in recovery? How many videotapes can I watch? Like he's just like obsessed with it.
yeah.
I
That's
don't
what
know if that's part of it or if it's just that there's better nutrition and knowledge now on how to like sustain yourself or if it's experience or maybe it's a combination, but like
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
you're
about
right
like
though. That's really funny.
I think about like when LeBron retires, like who the
Yeah.
fuck gonna be the face of the NBA? Like who's like, and then like say Steph Curry retires, like who the fuck is really the face of the? You can't say John Morant. John Morant's like all over the place. Like,
Yeah, he is.
like
Gotta have someone step up like Luca or Wembanyama, who's a crazy rookie, 7'4".
oh
Just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
man.
That guy is he went to the perfect place, didn't he? Spurs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Perfect place for him, really. Like no pressure. You got Greg Popovich. You'll probably
Hmm.
develop into, I bet he'll probably end up being the same type of player as Tim Duncan. He gives me kind of like
Yeah,
Tim Duncan energy, where he doesn't really do too much. He's not too wild,
yeah.
too crazy.
I, yeah, yeah, for sure.
What does your typical weekend look like?
Honestly, the last couple weekends, I mean, we just Aundronique and I just moved into a new house about 2 or 3 months ago, and
Mhm.
so um, we both work a lot Monday through Friday. So when the weekend comes around, we use our last bit of energy to like organize, unpack, kind of get some things set up. Um, like when we moved into this house, I wanted to do some more DIY projects, like installing some lighting and stuff like that. So we just um, have been trying to not. We haven't really been going out much. We've just been kind of getting stuff done. And we're finally at a point now where we can kind of relax a little bit, and our projects are done. So um, I don't know. The last couple weekends has just been mostly just kind of relaxing, taking our time, and we just got Super Smash Brothers, so we were playing that a little bit yesterday. So just kind of stuff like that.
Oh my God, like, I tried to play Super Smash Bros. They had it at the bar. They have it at the bar on
Oh
Thursday.
yeah.
And dude, I suck so bad. I remember when I was a kid, I was good. Now I'm like, why do I suck? Why do I
We just
suck so bad?
Oh, it's the worst. We just got it for Switch, and like they switched like the A and B button. So I
Yeah,
feel like the instincts I had as a kid are just gone now. I can't.
that's what was throwing me off. I'm like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is that doing to me? And then like I picked Pit because like I was used to Smash Bros Brawl, and
Brawl.
none of his
Yeah.
moves are the same. I'm like, what is this?
Underneath is playing Pit too. She's like
Yeah.
crushing with it.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
she just likes to have a ton of items and it's just chaos and everything blows you up.
yeah.
So
So
it's
you
fun.
what how do you deal with chaos?
Um, I try to organize it. break it down
You
break it
said try
down
to
into
chaos.
smaller problems and
Nah,
smaller
bro.
solvable problems. That's what I do.
Get rid
Yeah,
of
I
the
can't really.
items.
I
Get
can't
rid of
really.
I'm like, yeah.
You go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, like Underneath said, I say let's turn off the items. Let's just let our skills do the talking here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in your day to day, how do you handle like chaos and stuff like that? Just
I think I have a decently high stress tolerance, so but definitely not like an infinite stress tolerance. So I just try to break things down and just kind of, I realize that take a deep breath, things end up working out for the most part in the end. So try to focus on some of the big ticket items that might have the most impact. And if there's just a lot of little issues going on, then just try to keep moving forward. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Just focus on one. And that's getting one task done is better than freaking out and just not getting anything done. So just try to keep moving forward and, get stuff done, I guess.
yeah, I can't stand fucking chaos, man. Like if it's like something's too chaotic, I'm like, this like this gotta stop. Like like if something
Yeah.
gets too
Yeah.
chaotic, like I'm just like there's like a bone in me that just starts like ticking. It's like or like I'll like if it's like let's say I'm at work or something and like everything's fucked up, like I switch it to a different person. I'm on edge. Like
Mhm.
then like once I get everything like organized and everything's cool and there's no chaos, I can go back to like who I am. But like when there's like chaos like all around, I'm just like, oh fuck this. Like this shit's got
Yeah.
to like be like organized. Like
It's
no
the
one
worst.
talk to me until I'm done with this, It's like ragey, like whole demeanor change. I'm not laughing. I'm like not joking around. Like and then when
Oh, same.
like
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
That's funny.
I think you like think through the chaos too, because you'll sit there and you'll just like you'll be thinking like, okay, I have like 10 different projects going on. How am I going to organize this in a way that gets it done without
Yeah.
also taking away from my daily life.
I like fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you deal with the agent of chaos? Because her personality type is like an agent of chaos.
Well, I guess just patience. Um, yeah, it's I think I like she enjoys debating things, and I don't really like to debate things. To me, it's like that's like why add the stress of like having to defend yourself if you don't have to. So if it's not something that you have to defend, like I tell her a lot, like I just want like my main desire in my free time is just to have kind of a laid back, peaceful environment. I don't want to debate something that to me is insignificant. um, but yeah, I don't know. That's my first thought to that.
I don't know. I feel like ENTPs can always find like something to do. Like they're always doing something, and like what can happen will happen with them. I don't know what it is. It's just like agent of fucking chaos, and I'm just like, yo,
We were
Yeah.
talking about that yesterday. I
what
was like, I don't
Yeah.
know how you do it, but anything you want, you just tend to just do it.
it's like
Yep.
it's a little stressful. It's a little stressful. I mean, it's an acquired taste. I'll tell you that much. It's acquired taste.
Well, and I think talking about us, I've discovered that I'm a little bit more independent than her. And maybe that's how I deal with it is I just want to have some time where it's like, okay, I go do a hobby, you go do a hobby, and then we come back together afterwards. Um, and sometimes she wants to do my hobby with me or she wants to hang out while I'm doing it. And we,
Mm,
we don't get, um, so if I, kind of like I said, if I'm doing a lot of social stuff and then not getting any of my like alone time, then I end up kind of just feeling grumpy and grouchy, and it's like I just can't recover mentally, I guess.
mhm.
Um, and I mean, it takes a fair amount for me to get to that point, but um, I guess that's how I deal with it is just patience in general, and then trying to have my own kind of free time to kind of decompress and you know play a game or do a puzzle or something like that I can kind of get invested in and not be thinking of other things. And like to me, I feel like that's the best way to recover is to do something engaging as opposed to just like sitting and watching a show or something and
Mhm.
watching back-to-back movie marathons. Like to me, I get bored doing that. I don't. I can recover, but I recover better if I'm doing something engaging.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm, let's see. Um, what's something that stresses you out?
Um, I get stressed out if the biggest thing that stresses me out is having a lot of deadlines at work and then not and feeling like it's going to be hard to meet them all because I do have a large part of myself that is a people pleaser personality. So if a client is expecting something, I want to make sure that I deliver. Or if a teammate is expecting something, I want to make sure that you know I'm not letting them down. So and I think maybe that's one reason that I get exhausted from being around people is that I want to do them right. I don't want to like half-ass anything. So I know that the more I put myself out there and do things, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I don't want to. I know it's going to be a fair amount of effort
Mhm.
in that kind of sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense, man. Um, what are your goals for 2024?
Aundronique and I, we were just kind of talking about that, and it's kind of, I think, with being in this new house, I would like to do another DIY project of some kind. Maybe build like an accent wall in the living room, or we've got our yard is a super tiny yard, but it's just dirt right now. So maybe throw down some astroturf and pavers or something like that. And which I haven't done pavers before, so it'd be kind of fun to learn how to do that. And so something around the house will be a goal. Just trying to get back in the gym because last maybe 6 months or so we've pretty much haven't done that very much at all. So now that we're kind of more settled in the house and we've got a little bit more time, I think that'll be something that's a goal. And then beyond that, I'm still trying to figure it out. That's something that I like. I like to have goals. I like to like not just for New Year's, but just throughout the year. something that kind of directs my focus, both, in my career and my personal life. And so I'm trying to figure out kind of what that is right now.
What's something you would tell the 10-year-old version of yourself?
Can you ask that one more time?
What is something you would tell the 10-year-old version of yourself?
Oh, yeah. I would probably say read your Bible more. And don't be afraid to take on tasks. Don't be afraid to take on new things. Like, be less concerned with just necessarily making the best grades, while that's important. And I would say don't be afraid to like start looking maybe at like entrepreneurial type opportunities, because like that's one thing I like about my current job is like I get to be entrepreneurial. I can kind of pursue new clients and do that. But I think I would kind of guide myself down that road a little bit more, to seek out opportunities. And yeah, that's what I would say.
If you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for and why?
Number one wish, being a Christian, would be that everybody gets to know God, because I feel like if you don't know that Jesus is the way to heaven, and I just don't want people to spend an eternity in hell, because that's, according to the Bible, the only way. So I would want everybody to know that, friend or foe, because it's just not worth it. Eternity is a long time. That'd be my first wish. Second wish would be probably to just have enough money to, I wouldn't want to be a billionaire, but like have enough money to at least pursue some side hobbies, like real estate investing, or be able to, pursue something that I could uh, enjoy in addition to my current job. Um, and then third would just be for general health throughout my life. I don't want to live forever, but it'd be nice not to have any major health issues to have to deal with. And so, yeah, I would say those would be my three.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty solid there. Let's see here. What if you were to go to jail for anything, what would it be and why?
Carrying these guns. No, I was kidding. Go to jail. I don't know. I tend to follow the rules pretty well. I that's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, I'm pretty much a rule follower, so I don't think that there's much that I think I would get incriminated for, honestly.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Um, mm, let's see here.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna take my dog out. She's
Okay.
whining.
What do you think is something that holds you back the most?
Wanting to perfect things. I think I'm trying to. I can intellectually understand that you have to move forward, and it's better to move forward today with an imperfect plan than it is to move forward tomorrow with a perfect plan. So I'm intellectually just trying to understanding that, and then just trying to apply that. And I have been able to kind of apply that to some of my work in my job, but it's I think that's the biggest thing that holds me back, is I want to wrap my head around something and understand it entirely before I pursue it. And in some ways that can be good. If you're planning something and you're building something, you want to make sure you got everything, all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, so it doesn't come crashing down after you built it. But with other things in life, you're never going to know everything before you enter it. So you got to kind of have to have the idea of jumping out of a plane and building your parachute on the way down, that kind of mindset. So I think right now that's probably what holds me back the most, is just wanting to perfect things. And I mean, that sounds like an interview question answer, but it's true. I've
No,
noticed that about
no, no,
myself.
no, no. I mean, it's just a lot of specific personality types that are very big on being like perfectionists. So
Okay.
you feel like you have an inner critic always to have this like perfect job or anything like the perfect like your work or whatever.
Hmm.
You seem to feel like you like need like even if it's like a teammate or like a whatever you have to be like this perfectionist all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
How do you deal with anger?
Um, I don't really get super upset easily, but generally I kind of like to take a step back and think about things, because I don't think that much productive comes from emotional reactions. I think it's best to just try to take a step back, let the emotions subside a little bit, and then approach it logically, because I'm not somebody that wants to instigate something that's upsetting me, whether it's someone at work that's irritating me, or a friend or whatever, or Aundronique. um, I don't want to instigate it and make it worse. I'm not saying that doesn't happen all the time, but I would much rather just kind of like cool off a little bit and then think about, okay, what's most important to me of what happened in this situation? What do I want to communicate that bothered me, and what I kind of expect for the future, and avoid all the name calling and emotional stuff that isn't really beneficial. Because I
Yeah.
just want to like get over it and then get back to being happy and just being like going on with life.
I feel
So
like you create lists too. Like if
Mhm.
something really bothers you, you just like bullet point the whole thing.
yeah, yeah. In my head, I'll like create lists of like something that bothered me in an argument, so that I can come back and just like, I feel like it'll help me communicate what bothered me, and then what I'd like to see coming out of that better, if I can kind of like collect my thoughts, almost like a journal entry or something, but just
Yeah.
in a bullet form.
Okay. I think I got it here, man.
Oh, nice.
You ready? All right.
I'm ready.
So first thing that I notice about you is you're very direct, man. Very direct. So that means you're specific, concise, and to the point. You're not really beating around the bush. You stand on what you say. It's not like all around. You're not giving like a lot of extra information like somebody like her would be. So that eliminates 8 personality types. You're also outcome focused, very outcome focused. Like you're always looking at like the end product, like you
Hmm.
don't like to do things several times. You just like, okay, I need to learn everything I can learn right now so that I can do this one time, so I can do this right. So that means you're direct and outcome focused. Okay. You're also systematic, which means like you're very systematic with your approach to things.
Hmm.
Okay. And you can really tell that you're TE Dom. You can tell because everything you talk about is organization, list, things like that. So with being direct, outcome, TE, systematic, there's only 2 types that are left. ESTJ and ENTJ. And like you said, you tend to follow the rules. You're all about following the rules. You're all about you don't really break rules at all. So by that makes you affiliative. And you talked about like community and stuff like that, being a people pleaser, teammates respect. I want to do things right, stuff like that. So from that, I have you as an ESTJ.
I
Okay.
thought he was
Okay.
an ISTJ, so I was close.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The reason why he's not, he's always looking at the outcome. He's like, I got to get this outcome. But like the
Mhm.
direct in charge type and doesn't like chaos.
Uh-huh.
He's a big no on chaos. So
Yeah.
outcome types don't like chaos. Like they're not a big proponent of like chaos. As
Okay.
in like ISTJs would be a little bit more, they can handle chaos a little bit better than the ESTJ. ESTJ is like, no, no, this needs to be organized now. Direct
So
in
then what would make him the initiating part? There
because he's automatic. If someone's direct in outcome, they're
uh-huh.
automatically extroverted. Automatic.
Okay.
Like even if they don't show it, they're automatically because it's either you find either initiating or you find outcome, right?
Hmm.
Outcome's a little bit better to pick because it's like an interview. So anybody during the interview can come off responding, or somebody could change it. So I kind of most likely look for outcome versus progression over anything, because that's the metric that someone's like, it's gonna be there. Like this person's either looking at outcomes in products, or they're looking at like the journey of things, or they're looking at like the step by step, or like, you know, so that's the metric more I look for, because it's like universally there. As in, like, depending on somebody's energy or mood, they may initiate more, they may respond more, all that. So I really more like I go for that one.
Yeah,
So
it's
with him being,
interesting. On our very like all probably our first 2 or 3 dates. I remember I was sitting in the car with him, or like going to Target or something, and I was like, I think you're an ESTJ, was the very, very first one. But he's like, there's no way I'm extroverted. And then as I got to know him more, I see like introverted traits of where he does like to like spend time alone by himself, things like that. We don't care to go out, hang out with friends, or neither one of us are like looking for that. But even me being more extroverted, we tend to be like have those like introverted traits. And maybe it's just the way we talk, because like
yeah,
you can see I go off on tangents, which might
yeah.
be like my extroversion side of things.
Initiating form of movement.
Yeah.
Those
Um
that they go off on tangents like crazy.
yeah.
Uh,
So it's interesting. Very
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, he also talked about like he had no problem like talking to people. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has no problem talking to people, like, you know, like
He's better at talking to people than me, that's for sure.
yeah,
I
because
don't know about that. I don't know about
everyone
that.
loves the ESTJ. I swear to God, man, everyone loves the ESTJ. That's the politicians, that's the Ron DeSantis, the Tom Brady's. You know, everybody
Interesting.
loves the ESTJ. To me, I feel like overall, if I was to like, if God was like Mercy, you could pick 116 personalities, and like you got to pick this one. I would probably pick ECJ because they usually have a good paying job. They're usually pretty smart. They usually have a good family life, good work life balance. They stay in shape. Like, you know, it's they don't like break rules and not gonna be in prison. You know, like overall, like pretty damn well balanced people. So like if I was able to
Nice.
pick one, I'd probably pick ESTJ. I'm an
Oh.
ENTJ. I get in trouble a lot, man. Like,
We won't ask you what you'd go to jail for since it's being recorded.
oh man, probably drinking and driving. Probably
Oh man,
drinking and driving. I don't know, disorderly conduct, something like that. Um,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
but yeah,
Well,
USTJ, interesting. I think you're also Enneagram 1 for sure. And that's usually why that perfectionist kept coming out. You're like, oh man, I gotta make sure like everything's perfect for like my teammates, my whatever. So I would say you're 1W2 um Enneagram, ESTJ.
And could you explain the Enneagram again? I always forget. Like,
So like Enneagram is like a different system. It goes off like there's different like desires, fears, or whatever, and like how they manifest. Like there's the one who's like basically a perfectionist. The two is pretty much like the helper. The three is like the achiever. He might be a three. He could be a three or one. Now that I'm thinking about it, he is pretty much a fucking achiever. So he's either a one or a three. The four is kind of like the more empathetic. Um, they take like they feel like a lot of like emotions and whatnot. Then you have the five, who's like the very intellectual person, like the INTPs, like the Einsteins you look at. And then you have the sixes, which are like the ones with like contingency plans and like what could go wrong here, like very analytical. They take that type of approach to things. And then you have the seven, which is kind of like the adrenaline junkie. They just want to try new things, different things, however they can, or how many times they want to. Then you have the eights, who are kind of like myself, which is like very like they run away from their emotions. They don't express their emotions. Very like forceful people, very strong energy. Like you could pretty much spot an eight just because of the energy they give off. Very like kind of like dominating energy. And then you have the nine, which is kind of like the peacekeeper. They don't really get to like when they're kids or whatnot. They opinion isn't really valued that much, so like they don't like to shake the waters too much. Very good at being diplomatic, stuff like that. Um, but then you have the one, which is like the more like perfectionist, like have morals, things like that. They're really pushing for that. you're either a 1 or a 3 because you are an achiever, man. You are an achiever with the sports, the
That's
soccer,
funny.
the soccer, the basketball, the engineering. I mean, like you said, so you might be a 3, might be a 3, but you're either a 1 W2 or 3 W2.
Interesting.
Look into that.
ESTJ. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up a little bit more and talk to Aundronique about it and learn more
Yeah.
about myself here.
Yeah, that's an odd pairing. ENTP,
It
ESTJ.
is. It's very odd, honestly. That's why I was like, huh. Especially like I definitely see the TE in him all the time though.
Yeah,
Like
very strong.
that's yeah.
You can tell it's a
Because
zero budget.
because my TI is always just like with his TE. So I can definitely see that.
I wonder
That's funny.
how that works out, like with you guys in an argument. He probably just
I'm hard-headed. I'm like a ram.
It's kind of like you trying to focus on a point and then decide, keep it focused on this before we move on to this, and then she
yeah.
keeps moving it on to the next topic
He's
before we
trying to
get
control
done.
it. You see that? He's trying to another thing for outcome is control. Like he's
Yeah,
trying to control something. And
yeah,
he's like she's just moving around chaotically and then like, no, stay on this target. Let's
yeah.
argue this one. Don't move over here. And then
I've thought about like putting together a PowerPoint so we could be like, okay, this is topic 1. We're not going to the next slide until we've talked about topic 1, and then let's go to like, like I'm not trying to control the outcome. I'm just trying to control the like, let's discuss this one topic first and then move on.
control. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome,
that's
man.
funny.
Nice to meet you guys. It's an actual
You too,
pleasure.
man. Yeah, it
Uh,
was.
Thank
got
you.
any questions, man? Anything?
No, not too much. I definitely would love to follow Mongolian Mindset though on Facebook. I don't think I'm following you guys yet, so
Yeah,
um,
definitely. We don't have that many ESTJs, so it'd be awesome to have you in there, man. ESTJs are like fucking awesome. I wish I was
how
like I wish
how
I was
common
more like
is it?
them. Huh?
Is it not that common, or like why is it? What do you say
Well,
that?
ESTJs usually out there accomplishing shit, man. They're accomplishing and they're not at into things that are like theoretical all the time. They're not really
Oh,
big
okay.
theoretical things like that. They
Yeah.
stay more into the what does work, what has worked.
Okay,
Um,
that makes sense. Like practical stuff, how it's gonna
practical.
keep moving forward. Yeah, yeah. Not that this is not practical. I feel like this is very practical, honestly, because especially if you're leading people, and you know, if you know about yourself and you're able to like I could imagine, Mercer, you being an incredible boss because you could type people in an interview and then know how to best talk and lead them
Yeah.
later, like that is where I think the value comes in, is being able to just know how to talk to certain people.
Well, I think me and you, generally speaking, we are very good at leading people in general. Just because we're
Mhm.
TE dom, or what's called TE hero, like
Okay.
organizing, strategizing, like that comes very easy to me and you, as opposed to
Hmm.
like other people, they don't have like that ability to like talk up, or like they don't have like that ability to like they don't have that ability to pretty much like organize people, tell people like where they need to go, like how they need to go there, like what's this person's best talent, like that just comes natural to us.
Hmm.
So like we generally end up in leadership positions.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So I don't know why my friend keeps calling. God damn it.
Well, I don't want to hold up any more of your time, but thanks so much for meeting with us. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
thank
Yeah.
you, man. I'm interested to see how you guys' relationship go. Like, I got to interview you guys again sometime because that is a very unique pairing. The
That sounds great.
ESTJ
Let's do it.
and ENTP. I'm at the definitely interview you guys in the future because that is going to be a great video. I'll come with good questions. But
That sounds good, man.
all right,
Cool.
you guys,
Thank you. Thank
no
you.
All right.
problem.
Have a good one. See ya.